Hello everyone and welcome to Robot Operating System version 2 Jazzy Jalisco tutorials. In this tutorial we explain how to correctly add and simulate Lidar in ROS2 and Gazebo. And over here as a demonstration we use a simulation of a mobile robot shown over here. Obviously this is a differential drive robot that has two wheels and a passive caster wheel. On top of the robot, we have placed a lidar, and the lidar is represented by this black cylinder over here. Currently, I'm going to stop the motion of the robot in order to better illustrate the lidar and the robot configuration. So here is the lidar, and you can see the rays that the lidar is emitting and that they're being reflected. Over here, we are only showing the reflected waves, or better to say rays. And if you click over here, you can also see the complete 360-degree scan of the lidar. A very nice thing about Gazebo simulation is that this is a completely dynamic simulation of a robot and of the lidar. Namely, I can hit any of these objects and the objects will move, since its dynamics is also being modeled. So for example, if I hit this ball, the ball will continuously move. Let me try to do that, and here it is. Okay, and you can see that the ball is moving off the screen. Similarly, you can hit the box and the box will move. Consequently, this simulation is very important for simulating dynamical motion of systems as well as lidar or obstacle avoidance or anything similar. In this video tutorial, we use a simulation of a mobile robot developed in our previous video tutorial. Namely, in this video tutorial, whose title is given over here, we developed a complete model of a mobile robot and explained how to simulate that model in ROS2 and Gazebo. Consequently, our suggestion is to first watch this video tutorial in order to learn how to model the robot, and then you can continue watching this particular video tutorial where we explain how to add the lidar to the model. On the other hand, if you're not new to ROS and if you already have your own simulation of a mobile robot, then you can definitely watch this video tutorial and we will thoroughly explain what are the sections you need to add in order to properly simulate your lidar. Okay, let's start with explanations. In this video tutorial, we are using ROS2 Jazzy Jalisco and Gazebo harmonic, and consequently you need to figure out what is the SDF file format that your Gazebo program is using. In my case, the SDF file format is 1.10. However, in your case, the format might be different. But before I start, let me explain the importance of this file format. Namely, Gazebo uses the so-called SDF file format to load models. And when you model, for example, a model in your URDF or Zacro, that is when you write an XML file where you define your geometry, such as, for example, the file that you can see over here, internally, Gazebo transforms this model into so-called SDF format. Now, in order to properly add a lidar to your Gazebo model, you need to know the file format and the version that Gazebo is using. That is, you need to know the version. Why is this so important? Well, if I click over here and if I go to any version, for example this one, you can see that this section over here, which explains all the sections that your XML tag need to have, changes. That is, or better to say, the addition of a sensor is different for different SDF file formats. Okay, as I mentioned previously, in my case it's 1.10. Let me show you how to figure out the file format that your Gazebo simulation is using. First of all, open a terminal and make sure that you're sourcing the ROS2 environment, and then open Gazebo by simply typing gzsim. Of course, here I assume that Gazebo is installed on your system. If it's not installed, then go to this video tutorial where I explain how to properly install Gazebo. So after running this command, Gazebo will start. Then click over here on empty world and click on Run. And then over here, let's add an object. For example, let's add the box, let's add a cone, and let's add a cylinder. Now, let's save this workspace, that is this world, as the SDF file format. So click over here and click on Save World As. Click on Browse, and let's save it somewhere on the desktop. Let's call it as test2.sdf. And let's press Enter, and then press OK. However, first select this and press OK. And then let's go back. And after you open the saved file, you will see the SDF version. And consequently, if you go back to this website, click over here and expand this version. So click over here. And then this menu over here will pop up, and this menu describes everything. That is, it describes all the XML tags that you need to add in order to simulate a sensor, such as a lidar, such as a camera, such as an IMU or something similar. Okay, and we are going to use this manual over here. As you can see, everything starts with the sensor, then you need to specify name, type, attributes, always on, update rate, visualize, and other tags. I will explain this on our particular example. Okay, now that we know that, you need to go to your robot URDF file where you define your robot geometry. In my case, here's the model geometry, and this geometry is explained in this particular video tutorial. Okay, if I now go back to this file, here at the end of the file, I have additional sections that I need to add in order to properly add a lidar to my simulation. Now, if I click over here, I can open up this PDF file showing the robot geometry. The lidar is sitting on top of this body link. That is, it's sitting over here. And here, first of all, I need to define a lidar joint. I need to specify that it's fixed. I need to specify its origin and its rotation with respect to the previous frame. That is the frame of my body link. Then I need to specify the parent link. The parent link is obviously the body link. The child link will be the lidar link, which will be modeled as a cylinder, and over here we need to specify the axis of this joint. In our case, it's a y-axis, since we want basically horizontally to emit beams. Then we need to continue with the lidar link. So we start a link, we call it a lidar link, and over here we model the visual representation. Now again, it's not shown over here, however the lidar link is sitting on top of this box. I need to specify the origin, or better to say the center of the cylinder. Then I need to specify the length and the radius, which will be the length and the radius of my small cylinder representing the lidar. Then I need to specify the collision, which is basically a copy of the visual section. And over here I need to add a fictitious inertial section, since I need to add some inertia to my lidar. And that's it. And simple as that. That is, the first step is to model a lidar by adding a fixed joint and by adding a lidar link. Okay, the next step is to modify the robot.gazebo file. That is the additional URDF file, or the XML file that specifies parameters of gazebo simulation. We explained this file in our video tutorial shown over here. Now, at the end of this file, after we add the gazebo simulation differential drive plugin, we need to add a lidar sensor. First of all, you need to use the plugin section. Here's the general name, this is the file name, and this is the name. And then you need to type this, you need to use this render engine, and then you need to specify this section over here. You start gazebo reference, which is related to our lidar link, that is to this part over here. And then we need to specify several things. How do I know how this section should look like? Well, I figure it out by just looking over here. Namely, if you go to this web page, you can actually see everything that we need to have. Okay, so we need to start with sensor, then we need to specify name, we need to specify type, and other XML tags. So let's see what we did. Okay, so here's the Gazebo reference. Here we start, here we end, and let's see what is inside. Here's the sensor section. I'm specifying the name, it's a GPU lidar, and the type is GPU lidar. And then over here we need to define pose relative to. The pose is relative to lidar link. This is very, very important. That is to the frame corresponding to this link. And over here we have 000 pose. Then we need to specify the topic. This is the topic that we will be using to communicate between Gazebo and ROS2, since we want to import lidar measurements inside of our ROS2 simulation. Then we need to specify the update rate. Here I'm using 2 Hz. Then you start this lidar section and you are specifying the properties of the lidar. First of all, we are scanning horizontally. We are specifying samples, we are specifying resolution, min and max angles. Here we are scanning from -2 pi to 2 pi, that is we are scanning the complete circle, and we are using a horizontal sensor. That is, we are using scanning only in a single plane. Here you can add a 3D sensor. Again, I didn't invent this, I just looked over here in the manual, and you can see over here what you need to specify for everything. So everything over here is explained, and you can even search for lidar and you can see the sections that the lidar needs to contain. It has to contain scan, horizontal, angles, vertical, range, etc. Good. Now we specify the range. This is the minimum range, this is the maximum range, and we're specifying resolution. Now we can also add noise to make our lidar simulation more realistic. You can add Gaussian noise, we can put mean and standard deviation, and here you need to specify always on and visualize 1. And that's it, okay? This is the second XML tag that we need to add. Okay. The next thing is to modify the bridge parameters.yml file. Namely, this is the file that bridges ROS2 and Gazebo topics. Again, we explained this file in this video tutorial. Here at the end of the file, we need to add a lidar section. First of all, we need to specify ROS topic name, it's scan, and Gazebo topic name, scan. These names should match actually the name given over here. This is really, really important. Then we need to specify the ROS type name. What is the type of message that we are communicating? It is of the type sensor message, message laser scan, and then we need to specify Gazebo type name. Here it is. And then we need to specify direction. The direction is from Gazebo to ROS. That is, we are sending information about lidar measurements from Gazebo to ROS, and lazy here is false. And that's basically it. So these are the 3 modifications that you need to add in order to simulate lidar in Gazebo. It's relatively simple. The next step is to explain how to visualize a lidar in Gazebo simulation. For that purpose, you need to build a package, you need to source the package setup.bash file, and you need to run this launch file. If you want to learn how to write this file, then watch our previous video tutorial. Here, if I press enter, you'll see that the simulation will start. And here's our robot. You can see the lidar over here, however, we cannot see the rays. To see the rays, click over here and search for lidar. And you will see this option, visualize lidar. Press enter, and then you will see this drop down menu over here. Here you need to press this button, scan, and you will see the topic over here, and you will see the lidar arrays over here. Now, what I like to do is to press here in order to show only hitting arrays. Nothing is being shown over here since there are no rays that are being reflected. I said arrays, but I meant rays. So please forgive me. Now, let's add the geometrical object over here. For example, let's click here and add a box. And you can immediately see the rays that are reflected from the surface of the box. Let's add the cylinder. Let's add the cone. And let's add a ball, for example, over here. Good. And now you can see the rays that are being emitted from the lidar. The next step is to start a teleop node such that we can control this simulation. However, let's rearrange the screens over here. In my previous tutorial, I explained how to use the teleop node to control the motion of the robot. However, over here, I will quickly go over and start the teleop node. Here, I need to do several things. Here's the manual I created. And then, first of all, we need to source the environment. And then in the sourced environment, we need to simply run the teleop node. And if you bring back the simulation over here, if you press enter, you'll be able to control the robot motion by using these keys. So let's try to press U, and you can see how the robot is moving. And you can see how the lidar rays are actually moving, which is really, really important and really nice. Good. Now let's increase the speed by pressing Q such that we have something like this. The next step is to learn how to manually read these measurements. And to do that, open a new terminal. And again, in this terminal, you need to source the environment. To source the environment, again, you need to type this command. And then over here, we can type ROS2 topic list. Let's expand this menu actually, and you can see all the topic, and you can see our scanned topic. Next, let's obtain more information about the scanned topic. You can, for example, type this command, and then the name of the topic. The name of the topic is scan. You can see that the type of the message is being sent is sensor message laser scan. And let's show the interface, or better to say the structure of this message by typing this command, and you can see what are the fields. You have the header actually, you have the min max angle, you have the increment, time increment, you have scan time, range min, range max, and here is the very important field, which is a range, and it's captured in this float 32 array. Consequently, all the measurements are inside of this array. Next, let's learn how to read these measurements and display them in the computer screen. This is relatively simple. You need to run this command. Let me now just type clear, and then I need to type something like this: ROS topic echo scan. That is, we want to echo the scan message. However, we only want to focus on field ranges, and you will see magic happens. Or better to say, twice per second we are obtaining the measurements, and if I look at the measurement instruction, you will see that these are basically arrays of floats that we are seeing. Infinite means over here the rays that are not being reflected, and the finite value are actually the distances between our mobile robot and the obstacle. So in our case, we are reading these distances, and these distances are changing as the robot moves. Okay, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.